up? Well, welcome to another jam-packed episode of the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast. I am your host, Anthony Wright, coming to you from the beautiful and summer-like confines of Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wherever you may be watching or listening, I thank you as always. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel. You can check the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast not only here on YouTube, but on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, Substack, Trovo, and as well as on Podbean. Happy to be here with you guys on this beautiful August 26, 2025. We're going to be going over the 32 teams in 32 days segment. We have a couple more episodes and then we'll be wrapping that up right before the regular season starts. So I've been working it up, finishing, putting the final touches on it. So definitely happy and anticipating you guys, feelings and viewpoints on it. But before we get started, though, I definitely want to make sure we give a couple shout outs to several friends of the show. As you guys know, StubHub and Viagogo, the number 1 and number 2 leading ticket sellers and resellers in the world to live events, shows, and concerts. As you see here on the screen, there's a couple events still going on this summer, going into September, that I definitely think you guys might want to definitely check out. For starters, here we have the Morgan Wallen One Night at a Time tour still going on through the rest of this month. If you can secure tickets for that before August ends, I definitely implore you to. Paul McCartney's Got Back tour. Now, funny thing is, I didn't even know Paul McCartney was still touring, but that's from August through November of 2025, so definitely check the Creative ID link for that. NFL preseason is wrapped up, but there's kickoff tickets that you can definitely check there with the Creative ID link. Also, the U.S. Open Tennis Championship tickets, that's from the 24th, which actually just started a couple days ago through the 7th, so if you still want to get tickets to that, definitely check that out. It'll be in the description box of this video. Also, too, if you're into Viagogo, I would definitely implore you to check out the FIBA Euro Basketball Tournament. Tickets are now available. The tournament starts tomorrow. Tickets are available, tomorrow all the way through September 14th. You have Oasis doing a reunion tour. Definitely want to check that out. Formula One Dutch and Italian Grand Prix. Definitely wish I was there to see that. Definitely implore you to check that out. A few summer music festivals still left around, and Blackpink doing their Deadline World Tour. So definitely check that out if you're at Viagogo or you're in the UK. You're looking to do something before your school year, your holiday ends, or school year starts and your holiday ends, excuse me. And last but not least, for the rest of my StubHub subscribers, we have here college football tickets that are currently available. NFL tickets, just the tailgating experience, whatever it is that you're trying to get immersed in, StubHub has the tickets for and the deals for. I implore you to please check that out. Also, NBA tickets are also available. Yes, it's almost that time. September is fast approaching, so definitely want to make sure we got NFL, college football, and NBA, all these things fast approaching. Definitely hop on that. Like I said, the number 1 and number 2 leading ticket seller in the world for live events, shows, and concerts. That's StubHub and Viagogo. And for my avid gamers out there, if you guys are into, getting a nice little PlayStation or getting something to, solidify your fall, maybe if you're not really into watching the games like that, you like playing them a bit more, I definitely implore you to check out the Creative ID link within the description box of this video. PlayStation Direct, the best place in the world for anything PlayStation content that you need, games, game systems, accessories, whatever it is that you're looking for, definitely check out the link in the description box of the video. Sony PlayStation, more than a game. All right, guys. So like I said, hopping into this episode, 32 teams in 32 days. I love the outpour of support from this segment. You guys have been with me this whole summer while I've been covering this. I love you guys. And like I said, again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I definitely wanted to make sure we touch base, though, and finish out this segment strong before the season starts. So we're going to continue on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Denver Broncos. So starting with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers have had a very, very fruitful couple years with Baker Mayfield at the helm. Now, with Baker Mayfield at the helm, they also had Liam Cohen there. And we all know that he eventually wound up going on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Essentially, though, they had Dave Canales there to start. The offense kept going. Things were flowing well. Now, the beautiful thing is when you really put into the, microscope of what's going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had an excellent season last year. I mean, Baker Mayfield put up some of his best numbers he possibly could with Liam Cohen. Now, like I said, Liam Cohen is now the Jaguars' new head coach. But with Canales and Liam Cohen the past couple of years, Baker Mayfield put up, and I mean, with Liam Cohen especially, he put up career numbers, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, pass rating of 106.8. So Baker was definitely effective. That Buccaneers team, they dealt with numerous injuries throughout the year. So it was just something that they really had to contend with and deal with, and they dealt with it well. But again, we're able to put it together, have a good season. It just ultimately ended badly for them by losing in upset fashion to the Commanders in the playoffs in the first round. But be that as it may, Buccaneers had a solid year last year. You definitely were excited on what you got out of Baker Mayfield. Definitely were excited on what you got out of Liam Cohen, because in all honesty, we did not know what we were going to get out of Liam Cohen. I mean, as far as we know, Liam Cohen, he was replacing Dave Canales, so it was kind of like a lot of question marks. Obviously, getting that type of stats and that type of play out of Baker Mayfield, it showed that Liam Cohen definitely knows what he's doing. Now, it's going to be very, very incumbent on the Bucs to figure out how in the hell they're going to keep that momentum going. Now, they have the pieces. That's the other good part. They have the pieces. They have the requisite weapons they need offensively. Now, they have Josh Grizzard in there. Now, again, another guy I've never really heard of. Now, Josh Grizzard is an in-house hire. He was part of the Bucs passing game coordinator. He was a passing game coordinator for the team a year ago. So we shall see. I mean, don't really know too much about him. I mean, at this point, it's just a situation of continuity. He was there when the foundation was led by Liam Cohen, so it's more or less carryover. They're essentially going to be running the same system that they ran when Liam Cohen was the offensive coordinator. So be that as it may, Tampa Bay Buccaneers kind of figured it out with that. But if this team really wants a chance to compete for the NFC crown, they really have to hone in on a few things. Now, I would be the first one to tell you don't sleep on them. I feel like they're very much in that conversation. But there is a few things that I do think that could potentially hold them back. But the defense has to be better if this team is really going to compete. The defense struggled mightily at times last year. It was really the one true Achilles heel for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. But heading into the offseason, they knew they were going to have to address a lot of things, had to re-sign a lot of guys. Last year's of their deals. Going into it, Chris Godwin, re-signing him was big for them. Re-signing Levante David. Shocked that Godwin got re-signed, strictly because I thought Tampa was looking for an out. They felt like maybe things ran their course. They weren't going to be able to give him the money that he really desired or wanted. That contract to me seemed more of like a, hey, thank you for your service and thank you for all that you've done type of contract. It didn't really come off as if they really thought he was still a top flight wide receiver. It was just more or less, hey man, we've been with you. We know you're a fighter. We know you're a grinder. You've helped us win a championship. You've been there with us. You just dealt with some unfortunate shit. So we're just going to pay you and make sure, you're taken care of. So no arguments there by Tampa. Class organization for doing that. But definitely was not shocked that he got the money from Tampa. I was just shocked that he got the money. So be that as it may, it is what it is. The Bucs also signed Hassan Reddick, who definitely needed a new face, in fresh place, new scenery. Going to the Jets after being traded from Philadelphia the year prior, not really being a system fit, not really getting the contract he wanted. Just a wasted year. So definitely having him in this Buccaneers defense should improve their pass rush tremendously. So you got a lot of good things going there if you're Tampa going into it. And then, of course, in the draft, you go and draft one of the most underrated players in the draft, a wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. I just feels like he's eventually going to be the Chris Godwin replacement. And just looking at the contractual situation and how things play out, that seems to be the case. But keep in mind, they still have Jalen McMillan, who they drafted out of Washington a year ago. So they have a lot of pieces in place offensively to carry it forward. You still have Mike Evans playing at a high level. Mike Evans, he's kind of like, he ages like fine wine. His game's like fine wine. Every time you think, it might be the time for him to really give it up, this guy just shows up again and does exactly what you need and proves why he's still an elite wide receiver. I mean, just look at this. Last year, dealing with injuries, you still had a 74-catch season, 1,004 yards, 11 touchdowns. I mean, just, solid, wily old veteran, man. He is not, in his whole career, he's had a 1,000-yard season. This is the least amount of yards he's had since 2021. So, again, he's doing, 2017, because in 2017 he had 1,001 yards. So he'll have those years where it floats between 1,001 to, maybe 1,500 on a great year, maybe 1,200, 1,300, but this guy is just consistently solid, consistently, producing, consistently doing the necessary things that are required. Hall of Famer, first ballot, so got to give Mike Evans his credit. But as we go further, we look at some of the rankings for this team. Now, when you get into the rankings, the offense, as I just eloquently waxed poetically about, fourth in points, third in yards, third in passing yards. So again, really speaks to how well Baker Mayfield was playing in the passing offense and how they were moving the ball around the field last year. But defensively, this is essentially what I was talking about when I said this is going to be potentially the Achilles heel of this team. 16th in points, 18th in yards, 29th in passing yards. In the NFC, especially in the NFC, that's not going to get it done. You're going to get slaughtered. Now, you can get away winning your shitty division like that in the NFC South, but you're not going to get away with that beating elite teams. So that is something that definitely has to be touched on. Now, as far as rushing the ball, offensively and defensively, you have to be happy if you're Tampa Bay. Fourth in offensive rushing yards, fourth in defensive rushing yards. So they can stop the run. They cannot stop the pass. Definitely something that has been an issue for them. So you see why a lot of those moves in free agency were used to beef up the defensive line and the linebacking core so they can have a pass rush to give those corners and safeties a break. So you still got Antoine Winfield there. You still have some guys there. So we'll see how things play out. But for this team to be where they want to be and take the leap that they want to make in 2025, it'll be huge for that defense to not only be better, but to be, within top 10, top 15-ish realm. And hold up against elite passers, because if you can't do that, you're just going to get fucking tortured out there. But as far as the Bucs go, as far as the best case scenario, I would definitely say anywhere between 10 to 12 wins. This Buccaneers team has been climbing and been hovering within the top echelon of the NFC for several years now. And we got to think back even to the Super Bowl with Brady 5 years ago. This team has been winning the division not consistently. They've been winning that NFC South consistently, whether Baker Mayfield or Tom Brady. So it's just become a situation where if their defense can hold water, this team really will be a threat to the Eagles in the NFC and potentially any other team that's trying to contend in the NFC. Next, we're going to go here to the Denver Broncos. Now, the Denver Broncos have been like the media darling of the NFL. For a lot of people have just been infatuated with the Denver Broncos and what their potential is and what they could potentially do in the AFC. And it also speaks to the fact that they have very serious Chiefs fatigue, because I don't really see all of what they're saying, but I can see some of the tangible things. But going into it, breaking down their stats, I call this a lot of hype and a lot of potential. Now, the reason I say that is because, again, Sean Payton came in and did a hell of a job. 2 years removed from taking the job, he's come in to revitalize this Broncos franchise. They have Bo Nix in the fold now, and a crew of young playmakers they can throw the ball to. That's helped elevate this offense and make it tough for the AFC West, and no longer making the Broncos dismissive as an opponent. This team overall has transformed how they look and played well enough to just make the playoffs and potentially in their playoff drought where, if I don't know if you know this or not, guys, Broncos fans know this, but have not been to the playoffs since Super Bowl 50. Last time I checked, Peyton Manning was quarterback of that team. So very long time ago. So definitely something that they want to end soon and quickly. I think it's one of the longest droughts in football right now. But they ran into the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs this past year, got fucking dog walked 31-7. Which I think also spoke to two separate issues. One, when you're a young team and you're playing against a veteran team that's been in the playoffs, the inexperience and the inefficiency show. But most importantly, too, if you think about the Denver Broncos in a nutshell, they didn't really beat anybody elite down the stretch. I mean, if you're really taking into context, you got a couple wins down the stretch against some teams that were so bad that, yeah, you should have beat them. And then you beat the Chiefs at the end of the year when they took most of their team out. So it's like, well, hell yeah, you should win. I mean, if you don't beat a backup Chiefs team that don't give a shit about a game because they already have the playoff spot and the number one seed locked up, you really are garbage. So I kind of have to gauge it last year with a grain of salt, because it's like, okay, they did play well enough where they made the playoffs. They looked better. But how many good teams did they really beat down the stretch? And it was something where I had to really key in on it and really pay attention and look at it. So pulling up their schedule here. Just give me 1 second, y'all. Get this all pulled up. So, looking at their schedule, you had a 3-game winning streak from November to December 2nd. November 17th, 24th, and December 2nd. Listen to the teams they played. Atlanta Falcons, Las Vegas Raiders, Cleveland Browns. Okay? They have a bye week at week 14. Week 15, you beat the Colts 31-13. Then you lose to the Chargers. Good game, but lose to the Chargers. Then you lose to the Bengals, who at that point were one more loss away from being completely out of playoff contention. And then you beat the Chiefs, who benched their starters, and you won 38-0. You didn't really do that great to where it warranted the hype that they have this year. I think a lot of that Super Bowl hype is pretty premature. Remains to be seen, but things have to play out the way as they may. But in the offseason, what has led to this year is having a lot of hype. The Broncos knew that they wanted to lean more into their strengths. It's something that Sean Payton does a lot. So they went out this offseason to spend money. They went and acquired Evan Ingram, pass-catching tight end, formerly the New York Giants and Jacksonville Jaguars. They went after linebacker Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga, formerly both of the San Francisco 49ers. Man, I can honestly tell you, if they weren't injury prone, those guys would not have been, free agents. So that speaks to that. And they also re-signed DJ Jones. So Denver was definitely spending money this year. They definitely wanted to become more physical, more aggressive, more tenacious on defense. And even in the draft, they compounded that by drafting Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas, young physical corner. He can pretty much he's somebody they think that he can develop alongside on the other side of Patrick Surtain. Patrick Surtain is one of the top three corners in the NFL, lockdown cornerback. So they're looking at it like, if we can get somebody to lock down that other side or play just as good, we're cooking with gas then at that point. So you got to understand where Sean Payton's going with there, the mindset and the logic. You got to build that defense up for you to be able to contend in the AFC West and let alone the AFC. Looking here at their statistical rankings, now the Denver Broncos were ranked 10th in points, 19th in yards, 20th in pass yards. Now that goes a lot in junction to the fact that you had a rookie quarterback playing. When you look at Bo Nix's stats, Bo Nix had 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. So very good year for a rookie quarterback. Completion percentage of 66%. He threw for 3,775 yards. So he played pretty well. You don't really have too many gripes. He averaged 6.7 yards per pass, so you can't argue with that as well. The issue that you really have to kind of argue with and wonder about is, how is it that a rookie with a team who's, and let's just say it for lack of better words, rushing attack is, not that great. How was he able to put up the numbers he was? Credit the coaching to Sean Payton, but credit also Bo Nix for applying himself and putting in the work. Because make no mistake, he was putting up some numbers last year in some games where we know they definitely should have lost, and they wound up pulling it out. But their running game was definitely inconsistent, and it's definitely something that needs to be fixed if they have any shot of really contending this year in the AFC West, let alone the AFC. Offensive rushing yards, as I was just talking about, they were 16th, so they weren't great running the ball. That's something Sean Payton likes to do, to keep defenses honest and to have his offense at peak capacity. So that's definitely something I think they're going to work on. Now, if you look again at the defensive rankings, Denver Broncos were 3rd in points, 7th in yards, 19th in passing yards. So again, struggled there as well stopping the pass. When you struggle rushing the ball and then you struggle, stopping the pass, that puts you in a situation where when you play against elite offenses, you get boat raced 31-7 like they did against the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs. So, gotta realize right now that the Denver Broncos are still a young team. I think a lot of that Super Bowl hype is very premature. Things have to play out. Maybe their defense has grown from this year, but if any of us know, young defenses, it takes about 2 to 4 years for them to really put it together. So, we shall see how that plays out. This team has all the capabilities, in my opinion, to be a representative in the Super Bowl, but people are kind of missing the boat. Defense needs to be better. Rushing attack needs to be better. If those things are better, I definitely feel like the Denver Broncos can contend. And if they can make that leap, they'll truly be competitive. Best case scenario, in my opinion, for the Denver Broncos, I have them at 10 to 12 wins as well. Now, the reason why I say 10 to 12 wins is very simple. When you're thinking about Denver, Sean Payton, his offense is typically the more time that they have together, the better they get. The issue, though, I feel is the offensive line going to get better? Can the defense get better? If those things can get better, then I can see them getting past, 10 wins and possibly winning 11, 12 games. However, those things will need to take place if Sean Payton looks to have any further success with Bo Nix in the Mile High. So that's going to do it for this episode, guys. I love you guys for always plugging in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Thanks.